welcome back to the Unraveling Soprano. I'm Heather, and this is my channel where I talk about all my makes from the week, whether that be knitting, crochet, or sewing, or anything else that I might get up to. So today I am wearing my peacock sweater, knit in BioBalance. It's a cotton wool blend. Yeah, so that, and I'm also wearing, feet pick. These are everyday DRK socks, knit in Knit Picks Chroma, I think. I messed them up when I did them. The short row shaping is super weird because I forgot. I stopped paying attention to the pattern, and I forgot why you did heel shaping while I was on these socks, but they're still okay. They're not the most comfortable thing, but they work. All right, so what have I finished? So my one finished object for the week is the Age of Brass and Steam shawl. It's actually so big that I can't really fit it in, but it turned out really nice. I really like it. It's going to be great for just kind of watching, for kind of just wearing while I'm watching TV. Or I can even actually scarf it. Now I look like a high school drama teacher, which I'm not mad at. I do kind of like this look. I really do feel like I'm going to yell quiet off stage any moment. But yeah, so I really, really like it. It knit up super fast. I ended up using most of the yarn. I thought I was going to have to enlarge this. I didn't. I knit it to pattern. This is the leftover City Tweed in Honeybee. So Knit Pick City Tweed, which is a DK weight yarn. It's got this really, really pretty drape. Super warm. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this knit up and how it blocked, because it was really condensed. Obviously, I mean, that's what happens that's why you block. So it's really condensed, and then it stretched out, and now it's just really, really great. I think this is going to be one of my go-to shawls as we finish up this winter season. Yeah, so I'm just thrilled with how this is knitting up. So I was able to, the next thing I want to talk about is my cast on. I cast on a new project. This is the Campfire cardigan. I'm knitting the Campfire cardigan using Barocco, I think I'm saying that right, Ultra Alpaca. It's a worsted weight. It's 50% super fine alpaca, 50% Peruvian wool. This is the color Tiger Eye, I believe. Tiger Eye multi, Tiger Eye mixed. But this is what I have so far. I think I have about maybe 8 inches, and this is the back panel. So this is, Campfire cardigan is a cable knit cardigan knit in pieces, knit flat, and then you seam it together. I think it calls for a US 6. I'm using a US 5. I did a gauge swatch. I ripped it out because I wanted to use because I'm making this cardigan longer than the picture. I want it to be come past, I want it to be mid-thigh. So I want to use, I'm not quite sure how much yarn I'm going to need. I bought one more skein than the pattern calls. I'm making a size 4, I believe. Because I wanted a slightly oversized fit. I'm actually sizing down, but my gauge swatch was about a ½ inch larger. So when I knit up the stitches in the gauge. I think it was, I can't remember what the stitch gauge thing was. But instead of getting a 4-inch square, I got a 4.5-inch square. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna need to size down. So that's why I sized down to the 5s. And I think with my bust measurements, I'm supposed to knit a size 6, but I sized down 2. And I might be like, I was thinking like, okay, I'll start this and then I'll see how it goes. But without even blocking, this is pretty close to what the back panel is going to need to be on me, because I keep holding it up to like past my hips and it's got plenty of space. When I'm piecing things together, I don't really have much of a seam allowance. So I think it's going to be good. I think that this is, I mean, it really just kind of depends on how the sides are knitting up, but this back panel is fine. Like that's going to be enough, especially because once it blocks, like if I'm just like going to do just a little bit of a tug, if it blocks a little bit, I mean, that's more than enough. And it's also alpaca, so it is going to stretch a little bit because of just the nature of alpaca. This is the cable pattern. So this is the side cable pattern, and then this back pattern, the center pattern, which is kind of like a honeycomb. So far, so good. Pretty easy to follow. I'm really liking where we like how it's ending, like how it's looking. And yeah, I think it's gonna be it's gonna end up being a workhorse. I really like the color. This was not, I mean, I had a different yarn and they didn't send me enough, so I picked a new yarn so they could send me the correct amount in the dye lot. And so this was not my first choice, but it does make me, I don't know, I might just be real pale today, but I don't know if it's my color. I think it's fine. It does, I think it's pretty close to my hair, which is one of the reasons why I picked it. I mean, my hair is obviously, I think, a little darker and maybe a little less red than this. And it's showing up a little bit more burnt umber. Is that the right color? I don't know. It's showing up a lot darker on screen than it is in real life. I wonder if I get closer. No, it's more pigmented on the screen, but it's still really pretty. I still really like it. I'm glad I went with this choice. So the goal is to make this pretty long, so I can use it when it's like just having a cardigan option that is slightly lighter than my must-have cardigan, my really thick fisherman's wool cardigan, which is like short and cropped. But I wanted something that was more versatile, I could use for more seasons. The idea is for deep winter, but like I could wear this as like a coat in the fall, depending on how it looks. Like if it ends up fitting really nicely, I could wear that out. If it ends up being a little bit baggier, then it can just be around the house. And like AC, like once the AC is on, in like especially like movie theater. Not that I really go to the movies anymore, but there are places that are cold during the summer. I think it's gonna be a useful garment. So that is what I have done this week. My plan for this upcoming week is to keep working on that back panel. I don't think I'm going to get the back panel finished this week. This is definitely a longer term project. And I'm going to probably have to cast something else on. Like I might go back to the idea of the shawl. We'll see. I mean, we're getting close to the end of February and I have like a master schedule of all the projects I want. And since this is just a longer term project, I might have to bump some simpler projects up to just give myself some more variety, but we'll see. Because it is going pretty quickly. Like, I did that much knitting, I think, in like 3 days. Because it is, with cables, it can be a little bit potato chippy where I just keep wanting to get to the next section. Um, but yeah, so I think that I'm probably not going to get the back finished, but it'd be amazing if I did. Um, I still think I'm going to, even if I finish this at the end of March, I still think I'll be able to get some wear out of it, even if it's just around my house. We'll see. I'm hoping. But I'm also finding that, like, it's okay if something has to sit in the closet for a little bit before I wear it. I think I'm going to end up wearing this a whole lot more now that once we get into spring. I should probably be focusing on spring garments in the dead of winter, because then I can wear them once it gets to be spring, but my brain just doesn't want to do that. Like, I want to knit on the really comfy, cozy knits in the winter and then lighter things in the summer. That's just how I want to knit. But I mean, maybe that'll change. Because I can't, like, I say that and I finished 2 really thick sweaters in August. So, I don't know. But yeah, so that kind of wraps up all of the knitting talk. I have a new list of things that bring me joy. So first thing that brought me joy today, I got one of my coworkers. So I work in retail, and one of my coworkers did this amazing thing where she brought in, like, Valentine's Day cookies and like treats, but then she hand wrote every single person that works there a Valentine. Like, I'm not talking about like your like the packaged Valentines. She basically just wrote every single one of us a card with something individual and great about who we are. I mean, I didn't read everybody else's, but like mine was just very sweet, and it like completely made my day. It brightened my day. The next thing that has been giving me joy is I found out, I don't know where I was, I don't know where I've been, but the website Canopy, I had no idea existed. I mean, you know what? I think I may have known it existed, but I never like researched it. So if you don't know what Canopy is a website that you can access through your public library, and you can watch movies and TV shows and yeah, just like whatever they have on file. You get like a limited amount of access depending on what type of media it is. I think if you are renting a movie, you get like 72 hours to watch the movie. If you're renting a series, you might get a couple days. I've been watching a lot of Charlie Chaplin stuff, which has been great. I watched Modern Times because like Charlie Chaplin's actually a really good actor. He was a really good actor. I think that like we think because it was like one of the first like movies, and so much of the acting was still like bigger because everybody was coming from stage, that people, at least in like the general zeitgeist, people don't think of like Charlie Chaplin as a good like actor. They think of him as his like comedy, his physical comedy. But like just like there are some of the moments where I was like, oh, like you're really like communicating. You're doing the thing. And to do that without text, I just think that was fantastic. So I've been watching a lot of like classic movies on Canopy, and supporting your local libraries is always a good thing. I big fan of Libby for audiobooks. I use that a lot. The next thing that is bringing me joy is fresh flowers. It's just so cold and there's not much blooming, so fresh flowers are amazing if you can get them. If you are lucky enough to like live in a city where you have an amazing farmers market that can actually like get fresh flowers this time. I don't know if any of them can. If you live in New York, you can go down to like the flower district. Is that like you can buy flowers, fresh cut flowers year round? I'm jealous of you. I'm very jealous. I know they're super expensive, but you get to have flowers whenever. If I'm wrong about that, please correct me. I'm pretty sure that that's a thing year round. But just grocery store flowers can be great. Like mums this time of year. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure the environmental impact, but just like for the soul, every once in a while, not every week, just every once in a while, just getting some fresh flowers is just brightens my day. And then on that same kind of vein, planning for my spring garden. I'm not a huge gardener. I dabble. Like I've dabbled since 2019. I did a lot of like container gardening with like herbs, and I've had middling success, but I want to try something this year. I have a little bit of garden area that I can play with. And I want to see, I have pretty dense clay soil where I live. And I want to see if I can utilize the no dig gardening like process where you like lay down cardboard, put on compost, and then plant directly, and see if that like is helpful, because I can't really grow. You can grow lettuce in clay, but it takes a whole heck of a lot, and there's a lot of tree roots and like old like rose roots, because they used to be rose plants where I have. So I kind of want to see how that does, because I would love to be able to grow my own lettuce. And maybe some zucchini. So just kind of planning that, buying seeds. Seeds are such a cheap, I mean, like if I can get them to work, it's such a cheap way to get some fresh produce in the summer. So that's bringing me a lot of joy. And then the last thing that has been bringing me joy this week is just randomly complimenting strangers. Like it bringing joy to other people. It sounds like a really silly thing, but like even just telling somebody, hey, I like the color of your coat. Like that coat looks great on you. It brings me joy to like see people going, oh, yeah. So that's been bringing me a lot of joy. And then what am I reading? So I finished Great Expectations. I really liked it. The ending seemed kind of anticlimactic. It was like he was trying to wrap it up. And there was definitely parts in the end I'm like, I would have rather less time was spent on that particular section. And more time, because like it basically like I just kept thinking like, I know it's not a Stella story, but like they kind of just stop. Like she's such a big part of the story, and she's not really in it that much. Like she is the driving factor for pretty much everything Pip does, and we just don't know that much about her. So like, while I did really like it, I think it has a lot of really great things to talking about, like class, and it is, and honestly how to get to be a certain place you need help. I think that maybe I don't know if that was the intended lesson from the book, but that's something that I like got from it, is that you can't like in that, and there is difference between like how Americans are and versus British, and this is specifically very British. But to get to certain places, you do need help, and help can come from very wild places. But yeah, so I really liked it. Still reading Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is slower. I don't love it as much as I thought I would. I'm struggling with the character of Heathcliff. It is very gothic, which is very cool. I like gothic stuff. But we'll see. gonna keep, I'm also like, I haven't really dedicated a whole lot of time to really paying attention. But the book that I started this week was The Freedom Artist by Ben Okri, which has been great so far. It's very dystopian. But I think for an artist, I think it's an important read. It was written in 2019. And I really like the book I got from Libby is narrated by the author, and he's got a great voice. It's really it's very interesting because it's very dystopian, but like his voice is very soothing, so it's getting me through the just some of the harder parts of the novel. But yeah, so that is all I have for you today. Please share with me what you're working on, knitting or otherwise. Like, do you have any art pieces that what are you creating? So it doesn't necessarily have to be knitting, but what are you creating right now? And what are you reading? And what is bringing you joy? And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and yeah, until next time, happy knitting. Bye!